Hello, everybody. It is Renee, and I am actually broadcasting from our Palm Desert Ideal Protein Clinic. And so I'm actually not in the clinic, but I will be later when I am online with Dee for the low carb cooking show. But today I have a very special guest. His name is Ed Reardon, and I've been watching Ed online for a couple of years. So I love his videos. Ed's about, really talking the truth and telling his clients what the real deal is on not only losing weight, but changing our thought processes, our behavioral patterns, learning lifestyle habits. And so Ed is from Glenview, Illinois, and he owns Results 22 Diet Centers. Ed, how are you today?
Great. Thanks so much for having me. I love your show.
Absolutely. Thank you. So tell us, Ed, tell us a little bit about how you got into working with clients on a nutritional basis, and then how you chose Ideal Protein as your program that you felt was the best one out there.
About just about 10 years ago now, I opened up my first gym from training people and whatever, and I loved Group X training, etc. And we were watching their heart rates. We knew their workouts were perfect. We saw them 3 or 4 days a week, and after 6 months and 8 months, like everybody else, nobody was losing weight. They weren't in that much better shape. All we were controlling is 3 or 4 hours a week of their workouts. And you're going, okay, got to add nutrition to this, right? So then I spent about the next 12 months, and I pretty much researched every diet that's ever been known to man to figure out, what should we cover? Should we use paleo? Should we do this? Should we send people to Weight Watchers? Do we want to do something? If we want to do something, what should it be? And in the end, I came down to really absolutely loving ketosis and Ideal Protein. I just loved the scientific principles behind it. I like everything that it talks about. I like it from a scientific standpoint. There's multiple ways to do ketosis. So there's multiple ways I don't like to do ketosis, but Ideal Protein is in my wheelhouse as far as what I believe. And so we started using it, and the results have been spectacular. Like I told you, this year was just over 14,000 pounds.
Isn't that amazing? I love that. If you guys are online and you're watching, would you please say hello? Tell us where you're from, and if you're a dieter, tell us how far you've come, and any challenges that we may be able to talk about today. So I see Kelly McPherson. Hi, Kelly. Thanks for saying hi. So if you're online, jump online, send us your likes, and number one thing to do is hit the share button, because this is great information. As we go into the new year, we're always, on that cycle of beginning again and again and again. And each year, hopefully we want to be a little bit better than we were last year. And so Ed he owns some clinics called Results 22 Diet Center, and he's going to be sharing with us today the top mistakes that dieters make. So let's see. I want to say hi to Susan. She says hi, Renee and Ed. Kelly McPherson says this is her first time watching. Oh, Heartland, Michigan. Thanks for joining us. And Betty says she's trying to lose her last 5 pounds. You know what I always say? We all want to lose 5 more pounds. I've never met anybody that doesn't want to lose 5 more pounds.
Let's start there. I love that. I know where the difficulty is here.
Yeah, okay. So again, hit the share button, you guys. All right, Ed, let's dive in. So what is the first thing, what's the first biggest mistake that dieters make?
They come in, dieters are really, really fairly similar. There's not that many mistakes that you see being made over and over, but here's a few of them. The one I see on Facebook all the time, when I see with our clients almost every single day, we get 4 or 5 people a day, is calories go too low. When the body goes into ketosis, definition of ketosis, carbs less than 25 or 40. For Ideal Protein, they call it 40. So carbs minus fiber minus sugar alcohol is less than 40. So the body makes a natural appetite suppressant. And the problem with it is, for a lot of people, that means, okay, not hungry, eat less. Do 4 ounces of chicken at night. Do 6 ounces of chicken, whatever. And the Ideal Protein foods, the orange drinks, the blueberry pomegranate, the pineapple banana, they're 80 calories. If you only did the orange drink from Ideal Protein, you need 10 packets a day to get to the absolute minimum. Otherwise, the body goes into starvation. And if it goes into starvation, weight loss falls off a cliff. And our biggest problem on our dentist side, nothing touches it, is calories are too low. And then people get frustrated. That girl that just put up last 5 pounds gets too hard. A lot of times their brain starts to say, last 5 pounds, you got to be really good down here. No, you don't. You have to be normal like the other times. She'll try to take those calories too low. She won't lose any weight. She'll say, well, it's because I'm trying to lose the last 5 pounds. I didn't lose any weight. I'll have to take calories lower, start working out more. She will. That'll take weight loss to zero because her body will freak out. The liver sends a signal to the rest of your body that says, hold on to her fat cells. She's starving to death. So then next week she doesn't lose weight. And then she goes, I can't lose these last 5. I'm going to drop calories even further. And you go, oh my God, don't do that. That is the number one problem by far with Ideal Protein.
It's so funny because as a coach, I do the same darn thing. And it is so frustrating. It's an old habit I have. And it's really, really frustrating to me that I still will do that. And I'll still get in that place because I'm not hungry. So, you know, I'll get to the place where I have one shake and a salad. And yes, and I'm so frustrated when I get on the scale and 5 days later I have lost 0. All right, let's say hello to a couple more people. Dee Marie says, hi, Susan, and she's talking to someone else. Dee says, hello, Renee and Ed, and looking forward to the show. Candy, I love Candy. She's been following for a long time, and she has lost a lot of weight and she's hanging in there. And thanks for watching, Candy, and thanks for your comments. And then Karen's from Nebraska. She's a coach. So thanks all you guys for joining us. Make sure you hit the share button. And if you hear something you like on here, hit the like button too. That's how Facebook gives us more organic reach so that we can share our shows out to more and more people. Okay, Ed, what is the number 2 mistake that dieters make?
Not even close. Is insulin starts to know, this game is about, I know everyone talks about calories, calories, calories. This is almost nothing to do with calories. This game that we play to keep the weight off and to take the weight off is all about insulin. Can you or can you not control your insulin levels? That's what this game is about, insulin resistance and insulin. And so as you start to do a ketogenic diet and you do the diet correctly, your insulin levels are naturally going to fall off a cliff, at which point your kidneys send a signal to the rest of your body that says, let go of your sodium. So those sodium molecules that we're holding water don't hold water anymore. That's the reason all of you guys are going to the bathroom and peeing 25% more than you normally do, because your body can't hold on to sodium anymore and the water's just coming in and going out. So you have to put that sodium and electrolytes back. And if you don't, you lose, we call them spark plugs. You lose your electrolytes. And when those spark plugs go down, you have a bigger, significant keto flu the first week. You get headaches, nausea, dizziness, lack of energy. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So that IP salt is critical. I like to put lemon juice in water and dump in IP salt 2 or 3 times a day. Ideal Protein says a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. You're never going to make it with that. It has to be more than that. IP says that because there's 1,000 milligrams of sodium in the chicken soup, because there's 550 milligrams of sodium in the chips. So if you're taking down a soup or chips every day, you'll probably make it. You could do as little as they say. Otherwise, it's not going to be enough. So you need your kales and your spinach and your vegetables. Those vegetables, the main thing is fiber in those, but the main thing is electrolytes. And if you don't have the sodium and electrolytes in there, you can't hold the water intracellular inside your cells. And energy in those things fall off a cliff. The number one thing to recognize with that is sleeping at night. If you're tossing and turning at night with Ideal Protein, it's because your electrolytes stink. When you're dreaming at night and you wake up in the morning and tell me about your dream you had last night, your electrolytes are spot on. And you've got to do, the lower you drop insulin, the more electrolytes and sodium you're going to lose, and you've got to put them back. And nobody has the slightest idea, because our doctors have been telling us, less salt, less salt, less salt. And they're right if you're not doing a ketogenic diet, if you're not fasting, if you're not working out, if you're not drinking caffeine. All those things are taking electrolytes out, especially ketosis. So that pump never goes off until you get out of ketosis. And that thing causes all kinds of problems.
Wow, that's such great information because I have a couple of those things that you said. I've been trying to lose a few 5 or 7 pounds myself, and getting up every 2 hours, and I have some other issues. I have some other autoimmune stuff going on, but yeah, and so Ed, let's talk about. Before we get going, I want you to talk about the branched chain amino acids and electrolytes, but let's say hello to a couple more people here. Arlene from British Columbia, Canada. I always love her. She follows us. And okay, I'm so sorry, Karen. Yes, you're right. I always say you're from Nebraska. Okay, where are you from? Iowa. Sorry. All right. Susan Smith says, what about more water enhancers instead of the 1/4 of a spoonful of IP salt? So we'll address that in just a second. And then Kelly says, do you think the water enhancers help with that? If so, how many a day? And Ed is saying no. And Arlene says, who knew that was so important? Okay, so let's talk about how we replace those electrolytes.
The main guys are sodium, magnesium, and potassium. And calcium and magnesium balance each other. If calcium goes too high, you get constipation. If magnesium goes too high, you get the runs. But guess what? People don't realize that potassium does the exact same thing. So potassium and sodium balance each other. In this diet, you'll start to lose a significant amount of sodium, like I told you, because of your insulin dropping so low. Well, potassium sparing is called. Potassium tries to stop the salt from leaving the body so much. And salt essentially is grabbing the potassium and bringing them with them. So you start losing an enormous amount of potassium because of the loss of sodium. So they're running together as well. So pickles would increase your sodium. The enhancers that she talked about, I like them. They taste good. They're low-level electrolytes, though. If you look on the back of the packages in those things, they're not loaded with sodium and electrolytes, etc. Yeah. For those of you that haven't been teaching IP for a long time, this is my 10th year. In year 1, 2, and 3, Ideal Protein made it mandatory that for the first 2 weeks, every client had to do a soup every single day, no matter what. No exceptions. And the reason they did that was, and it was a good rule at the time, is the chicken soup has 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Broccoli has 550 milligrams of sodium. They were going to force people in the first 2 weeks to take in more sodium using the soups, etc. But now that we've gotten this huge array of products that taste so great, a lot of people start having the cappuccino drink or something else that isn't loaded with sodium. So that 1/4 teaspoon isn't getting them nearly what they need. So the game and the rules have sort of changed over the last years, and they haven't really changed accordingly because they don't know what clients are taking. If you're doing chips and soups every day, you don't need as much. If you're not, I like Powerade Zero. I like pickles. I like soy sauce, regular soy sauce, not low sodium, high sodium. I'm telling you, doing too much salt on the diet is fairly difficult to do, believe it or not. It's very difficult to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's very, so let's talk about Powerade Zero, because that's not something that I would recommend to my clients.
It's got a downside and an upside. Downside is I never like fake sugar. So you'd like everything to be zero, but I mean, Ideal Protein's fake sugar too. So there's a give and take. You secrete a little bit of insulin, which is the trouble child, when we have any type of fake sugar. But Powerade Zero is going to have a little bit of sucralose, but it has sodium and potassium. So no calories, no carbs, and it has sodium and potassium. And so, all it really has is the same amount of sucralose as the chocolate drink does, or the orange drink, or the chicken soup. So it's
similar.
Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Not what I'm saying, and I agree with you. If you were going to say, guess what? No fake sugars and whatever, you'd want to ban it. I'm up for that. I also looking going, you're already taking in some. That's why in my world, Costco makes a product called Volcano. It's a lemon juice. And you pour that in water and then dump in Ideal Protein salt that has potassium and sodium. That to me would be better than Powerade Zero. But I'm just trying to get clients to do something that they take in more sodium with and whatever. Because sodium and electrolytes, potassium is the problem. A lot of people say, I see on Facebook, pink Himalayan salt is better than IP or whatever. I love pink Himalayan salt. I can give you nutrition reasons all day long. I like it. In ketosis or intermittent fasting, I hate to tell you, ideal protein salt is better. They do a better job loading in potassium, and that's what the human body needs. So they're not an equal substitute.
That's great information. So basically, we have a better absorption level when we are taking the ideal protein salt.
We're getting a higher level of potassium. It's not a higher level absorption level. It's a higher level of potassium that's combined with it. Potassium is not loaded at that type of level in pink Himalayan salt because that naturally isn't in the body. Ideal protein purposely put that in the salt. It's not there to taste better or do anything else. They purposely put it there because they look and go, you're going to lose a ton of sodium in this diet and you're going to lose a ton of potassium in this diet. And we know it. The numbers they're throwing around to put back are something like they'd like to see you do 2,500 milligrams a day of sodium and 4,000 to 4,500 milligrams a day of potassium. These are huge numbers, and they're very hard to get back just from the products and 800 calories. It's one of the reasons it's so important to do the vegetables. The spinaches of the world, the kales of the world, the mushrooms of the world are loaded with magnesium, potassium, and those other things. Besides the fiber that you need to stay regular, that is the huge deal with this.
Okay, I love that. Great information. So let's go here and okay. So let's visit some of those. Let's see. All right. Carrie Ann says, "Hi, learning as I go." Toms River, New Jersey. And she says, "How would you rate the keto diet?" Let's not. We're not talking really about the keto diet. We can address that at the end if you want to. Let's talk. Kelly McPherson says, "Now that we're going into the holidays, can you address alcohol intake? If I do drink, what's the best option, or should I not drink at all? I'm in maintenance." Okay, so she's in maintenance. So let's put the disclaimer on there. Absolutely no drinking in phase 1. And Ed, why don't you give us a rundown of how you talk to your clients about alcohol in phase 1?
Alcohol in phase 1. Alcohol pretty much gets absorbed like this. Alcohol goes into the gut gets absorbed by carbohydrates. Carbohydrate breaks them down, then they go to the liver. In the diet, in any keto diet, in ideal proteins diet protocol, whatever, we're taking in so few carbs. It's bypassing the stomach, and alcohol is going directly to the liver where it's metabolized instantly. Therefore, 2 drinks would be 4, 4 drinks would be 8, 3 drinks would be 6. So you're doubling the veracity of the power of alcohol given that way. You're also doing something else that's losing electrolytes. So ideal proteins is absolutely positively no drinking during the diet because it's going into the brain, borrowing glucose and whatever, and it's causing issues. Do I think it's the end of the world for something? No, but I do think too many drinks very quickly. A normal person with 3 glasses of wine just had 6, and that could literally send somebody to an emergency room because you can't handle 6 regularly.
Yeah, now, it has sent some of my clients to the emergency room. So yeah.
And now these girls in maintenance. I love that question because I go, in the end, in order to keep this weight off, all we're going to try to do is change and modify our behavior, right? So it really becomes down to what are some of your rules for alcohol, right? I know I'm going out with my wife on Friday night. We're going out with another couple. I'm going to have a couple glasses of wine. Well, 120, 130 calories times 2 is 250, 260. I'm a little more cognizant during the day of what I'm eating, knowing I'm taking in more calories at the end of the night for alcohol. You can do rules where you start drinking glass of alcohol, water, glass of alcohol, water. It slows me down. You start talking about authenticity and shame and those type of things, which really drive eating and hunger, et cetera, for behavior. And you look and go, am I drinking night? I had my 2 drinks tonight on Friday night. Am I having a 3rd and 4th drink because everyone else is drinking? Or because I've decided that I want to drink? If I decide I want to drink more, it doesn't bother me. But that's really what maintenance is about, is me starting to understand authenticity-wise. Just because my wife or friends or somebody else is drinking doesn't mean I have to drink. We were at a party last Friday night at a bar, and the guy says, "Hey, Ed, do you want a glass of wine?" And for whatever reason, I just didn't want to drink that night. And I go, "No, thanks, I'm good." He couldn't have been a minute and a half or 2 minutes later. He goes, "Let me get you a glass of wine. Everybody's having a glass of wine." And my wife, without even blinking, looked at him and said, "Tom," he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Don't bother. You're never going to change his opinion. You're never going to get him to do something he doesn't want to do. Just let it go." But I've already said no to him twice, and he asked a 3rd time, "Can I get you a glass of wine?" And you can go, the first 2 times I said no, did you not understand me? But that's just going, well, come on, everyone's having one. And a lot of people just cave and they go, okay, all right, I'll have one. And that's really part of what you're trying to learn in terms of maintenance of just who I am. I don't feel bad because I have one or not because I didn't. It's just, I don't want others to start influencing one in what I do.
I agree with you. And I think that in the long run, for me, alcohol definitely hits me a lot harder now that I am at my goal weight, and number one, as I've aged, I don't metabolize alcohol like I did when I was younger. I can't have a bunch of drinks anymore without getting just super drunk. And do I want to be super drunk? No, I do not want to be super drunk. But you know, also it really leads to making crappy decisions about other things. So, you know, it leads to, you know, understanding that, oh my gosh, I drank too much and I really need something. So what's the easiest thing you're going to get at the bar? Some bread. So then, you know, the next day you wake up, you're unhappy with yourself, you've overeaten things you didn't want to eat, you feel bloated and crappy. And so some of it comes to play, I think, also in just making choices that you know are super good for you. So thanks for
real quick though.
Yeah,
One, when we have alcohol, we lose electrolytes, right? So we sell a product in our diet center from Hammer Nutrition that my kids have at college, so that when they drink alcohol, they also take in more electrolytes, putting back. So you're taking out spark plugs when you have alcohol. So you want to put them back and mitigate effects and feelings the following day, no matter what. Number 2, insulin. Beer is going to secrete insulin, higher levels of insulin, more than vodka, rum, hard liquor. So it does become part of an insulin story and whatever, where you say, if I'm having more potatoes or carbs or something for dinner and insulin's already spiking, beer's a really bad combination because now insulin's spiking again. And it's this overproduction of insulin that's causing an increase in hunger, increasing cravings, and storing more fat. Therefore, you produce more insulin, and the whole thing starts going round and round. So there are better choices than others. So I do think, you know, in order, it'll go hard alcohol, wine, beer.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Beer is like not something, first of all, I don't really like it, but it's like, to me, it's like eating a loaf of bread. So why would I bother? Okay, before we get going again, want to say hello to Melissa. She's tuning in a little bit late. And Susan asked if we can write down these tips and put them in a document. We'll work on that, Susan.
That's a great question.
Well, actually, all of these videos, the following week, we put them out in the form of a newsletter and also on our blog post. So I will put in the comments section a link if you guys want to get our newsletter weekly. All of our videos are repurposed through not only YouTube, but our weekly newsletter, and we do write the tips actually in the newsletter. So definitely we will do that. Okay, Ed, let's talk about that third mistake that dieters make.
Third mistake, it's fairly simple. I don't know why more clinics don't push it, but BCAAs, branched amino acids, are not optional. So here's what's happening. Chicken, meat, fish, eggs go into the stomach. They get broken down into amino acids. Branched chain amino acids are nothing more than leucine, isoleucine, and valine, the 3 major proteins to build muscle. So you have a broken down product that's giving you chicken, meat, fish, and eggs. What's happening is Harvard came out with a research study about 3 years ago that IP looked at that said ketogenic diets are the best, most effective way to lose weight, with a caveat. Until you get about 21 days into a keto diet, you're not fully keto adaptive. Your body hasn't completely figured out exactly all the mechanisms what's going on. And you have a tendency to lose a little bit more muscle in the first 21 days because you're missing these branched amino acids along with a protein called glutamine and beta-alanine. So Ideal Protein literally just turned around and made a product off of that research study that said, okay, we'll make a product with branched amino acids and glutamine and beta-alanine. And we'll ask clients to do it for the first 21 days and or before they work out. And it'll go to the stomach. The body will take it, absorb it, and whatever, and will mitigate muscle loss. and will also provide them with another energy source. Because those branched amino acids, because they're already broken down, they go right to the liver, and the liver is going to send them directly to your muscle cell. And once in my muscle cell, my body can turn and grab those and start making glucose or something, which is why it'd be the perfect option before I go to work out. So again, electrolytes and branched amino acids to me would be a perfect before workout drink, and it really mitigates the muscle you're going to lose in the first 21 days. At the 21-day mark, you're fully keto adaptive. Your body understands the branched amino acids on its own now, and they go, okay, we've got this. Thanks for helping me out, but I've got it from here. And you go, okay, and you can let it go. But I think it's an absolutely critical thing, because for every pound of muscle that you lose, you got to take in 50 less calories every day for the rest of your life. You do not want to lose muscle. And to mitigate muscle in a keto diet, and especially in ideal protein, stay higher in your branched amino acids just for the first 21 days. I also don't think it's that smart to go to Amazon and those other places and buy any branched amino acids, because they don't have glutamine and beta-alanine in them, because that was what the Harvard research study said. That's why they made this. Ideal protein didn't make this up. And I'm not a huge pusher of all these ideal protein products and blah, blah, blah. But it is what it is. That was the science, and they made this product. It tastes great and it works. And I'm not asking you to increase your bill for more than 21 days, but oh my God, is it worth it for the first 21 days to mitigate muscle loss and keep those calories that you get to burn every day for the rest of your life?
Absolutely. So what do you do once people have gone to the 21 days, say that they are working out a couple times a week because that's what they did before they started Ideal Protein? What is your advice there?
Our advice there is simple. Rule one that we told you at the beginning is problem number one is calories are going to go too low. So you go to work out on this diet, it's okay with me, but you've got to put the calories back. Net, food minus exercise, better be in our world, we got to be above 725, 750. You can't let that number drop below 750, Russ. That's where we sort of see trouble going. So got to put the calories back. Number two, every time you exercise, every time you do a ketogenic diet, fly in a plane, drink caffeine, drink alcohol, you lose electrolytes. So you owe me even more electrolytes than you did before because you're working out. So add back in calories, add back in electrolytes. And when your body's there and doesn't have much in its stomach, doesn't know what to use, we don't want your body to use muscle for an energy source. So I'm taking in my branched amino acids before I go to work out. I don't need them after. After working out and you're done with the program, bodybuilders will take them in before and after for muscle to go. In the program in keto, only take the BCAAs before, so that inside your muscle cells is sitting this protein. So instead of eating your muscle, your body will convert those branched amino acids to glucose and make carbs when it needs to and get you through that workout, and you're fine. You get lightheaded during that workout, that's because your sodium levels have dropped way too low.
Oh, love this information, because you know, I get all these questions and I answer them in the way that I know to a new level for me. So I really do love that. Okay, so Melissa says she loves the BCAAs. And Eileen says, hello. Hi, Eileen. Thanks for joining us. If you guys are on this broadcast and you would like to hear more, push the share button. That's how we make our broadcasts bigger and better, and have more interesting people like Ed on and involved. So we're very excited to have him here today. Okay, Ed, last but not least, we talked about that we were going to talk about the scale today. So let's discuss the scale.
The scale is important to me in the sense that you have to understand when in the first week you're losing extra weight. Normal girl could probably lose up to 3 pounds. Normal guy, maybe 4, maybe 5, depending on size. Everything over those numbers is stored carbohydrates or water. A muscle's 73% water. So the more water we lose in that muscle, the more water we lose for the week. So stored carbs are stored in the form of water. We go running, we use water. We drink caffeine, we use water. And so some of your weight gain or loss is coming because of water inside of the muscle cell. Now, inside the muscle cell, if you have the proper electrolytes and sodium, when you drink water, you can absorb it intracellular. So certain scales, expensive scales, good scales like an in-body scale that'll let you go inside the muscle cell will say, okay, 2 examples today, literally today examples. Girl came in, she lost 3.5 pounds. She goes, wow, what a week. And I had to tell her she didn't do that well. I said, you exercised a couple days this week and you didn't put the calories back. You didn't lose that much weight. I see you not losing weight for 3 out of the 7 days. She goes, I did exercise for 3 days and my calories may have been a little bit low. Why did I lose 3.5 pounds of weight then? Well, 2.5 pounds of that weight was water inside of her muscle cells from a lack of electrolytes and sodium. It wasn't real weight. She really only lost 1 pound for the week. The other girl behind her, who just got off of Christmas and break and whatever, gained a pound for the week and was really disappointed. She gained 5 pounds of muscle for the week. And I said, wow, heck it did. How do you know? Because 5 pounds of water weight went up in her muscle from stored carbohydrates. Her weight should have gone up by 5, but it didn't. So she actually still lost 4 pounds of muscle. She did an amazing job. She may have taken in a few carbs, but overall, her diet and nutrition thing was pretty damn good. So weight in and of itself doesn't really tell me what you did or how you did for the week. I need to understand, okay, that's weight. How much of it is intracellular? How much of it is water inside your muscle? How much is stored carbs? How much caffeine have you been drinking? Guy came in 2 weeks ago on a Monday and he lost 4 pounds of muscle for the week. And I go, wow, what did you do this weekend? And he said, oh, I had a reunion. I go, I know you did. He goes, how do you know? I go, because you've been drinking. How do you know I've been drinking? He said, your muscle's down 4 pounds. Alcohol went in, pulled out electrolytes, pulled out water. The water in his muscle went down 4 pounds. So you knew he did something really severe that he'd never done before. So he was drinking alcohol and pulling water out of his intracellular water. It looked like a good week. It wasn't. So weight is just a function of what's going on inside the cells, intracellular. And to figure out that intracellular water, you need sophisticated, good scales. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We have an in-body. We've always had an in-body scale, and you know, yeah. It's very important as a clinic to have that kind of equipment, and not everybody does.
Nope.
There are places that you can go and get an in-body reading and you know, take a look at that kind of stuff. So Ed, we lost you a little bit there when you were talking about the person that lost the 5 pounds of the intracellular water weight, but I think you were saying she went down in fat. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you explain that one more time so that we get that on camera?
Sure. And just so I'm not saying everybody, your clinic has to have that scale. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you really want to get good readings, don't freak out like I see people do all the time on Facebook by looking at the scale every day. Nothing is better than those inches. Measure that body every day. There's nothing better than that gene test. There's nothing better than the inches. When you measure those inches, we don't worry too much about intracellular water and those type of things faking us out. If your pants are going down, if your jeans are going down, if your waist size is going down, that's the body burning fat. And the scale may say no weight gain whatsoever, no weight loss whatsoever. So it's being tricked every time by water. Like I said, caffeine, alcohol, working out, ketogenic diets, all of those things have a tendency to pull water out of the muscle cells. Don't do any sodium, pickles, Powerade Zero, IP soups, IP salt for 2 days. And I guarantee you, you will lose 2 or 3 pounds of intracellular water. The water weight will go down for the week, but you haven't really lost any real weight. It's just a sign that your electrolytes are really low. I know why you're really lethargic. I know why you're not sleeping well at night. Your electrolytes stink. And so that's just a sign of sodium and electrolytes. So real weight loss is weight on the scale minus or plus intracellular water in the muscle. And without those two numbers, you don't really know what it is for the week. So the way not to get upset and depressed about it is keep measuring. Try on those tightest pair of jeans and go, wow, jeans feel good this week. You go, okay. Woman's cycle, constipation, those are going to take water significantly higher. And there's nothing you can do about it. Someone's on prednisone. Forget it. Water weight's going higher. It doesn't mean you're gaining weight. It means you're gaining water inside the cell because that particular drug pumps out insulin. So it really can move things around and you can't get upset by it. What you really want to do is focus on inches because fat does not lie.
I love that because, you know, you're right, Ed. People get so caught up in that number and that, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to quit? Why are you quitting on yourself just because the scale didn't do what you wanted it to do? So before we get going here, we got a couple of things here. Okay, so Melissa was talking about she carries a lot of glycogen storage, 10 to 12 pounds. In week one, she loses or add more carbs into phase 4, which she just doesn't. So yeah, that's your glycogen stores are they make the scale go up. Okay, so Susan says she does. I don't want to miss the opportunity. Pardon?
Can I take that one?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're doing 10 or 12 pounds of weight, anything north of 7 pounds in week 1 for a woman means you're taking in your diet is way too high in carbohydrates. Period. It's not that you had an amazing week. You didn't. You take in too many carbs. So,
right. So what she's basically saying.
Over 30, we don't know the exact number, but over like 34, 35 pounds of fat, you're going to produce too much insulin. You're called insulin resistant. So when you get off of that diet and you're in maintenance, I would tell her, I'd be very, very careful about the carbs to put back in my body, about the whey protein to put back in my body, not to spike insulin again, because that's what you need to keep under control for about a year to get a new set weight in order for maintenance to take hold. But this week 1 thing, if we both you and your sister do the diet and she loses 9 pounds and you lose 4, she did not have a better week than you. She takes in more carbohydrates and could be a bigger junkie to sugar than you are. She didn't do a better week. She just lost more stored carb. You both lost 3 pounds of weight. I couldn't lose more than 4.5 pounds in week 1, and I'm a guy. I don't take in that many carbs, so I don't get to lose 8, 9, 10. Our biggest client ever is 16.5 pounds in week 1. He had 21 sugar spots that he hid food at work. 21 spots at work where he was hiding sugar. Well, he lost 16.5 pounds in week 1. He was high-fiving us, but it's really nothing to brag about. He had an addiction to sugar. That's why he had such an amazing week 1. So it's really telling you the level of carbs you take in, and what you want to be cognizant of is when you're off the diet, you really do not want to take in that level of carbs, because when that level of carbs is in the bloodstream, what are you going to crave? More carbs. I mean, that's what we tell people all the time. I start inserting nicotine in you every day. A week from now, I got to tell you, you're going to start smoking. You're not a smoker, but I'll make you smoke, and I'm going to make you smoke because I'm going to inject nicotine in you until it gets so high in your bloodstream, it's all your brain thinks about. And you're going, my God, on the way home back from Tommy's basketball game today, I bought a pack of Marlboro Reds. And your husband goes, but you don't even smoke. And you go, I do now. And so that level of carbs worries me because it's going to be very difficult to stay off of it. That with that high a level in your bloodstream, staying off of carbs isn't a matter of willpower or mindfulness or anything else. That your body's going to crave it because it's too high in your bloodstream, no different than the nicotine and smoking and whatever. So that would worry me.
Yeah, she's actually a coach up in Canada, and she keeps her level of carbs to net 40 after losing over 100 pounds because she just doesn't have that capacity. And I'm the same way. I'm so carb sensitive and insulin sensitive. Okay, so Susan says here, I don't want to miss the opportunity to ask Ed about the 40 grams of carbs. Do with it whatever you want. Do you tell your dieter they can have things that is not on the phase 1 sheet, even if it's not protocol? I wouldn't.
I don't like going off protocol too much because it makes it too hard. I do have an exception. I know Ideal Protein doesn't like it, but I don't have any problem with avocado. I don't get the research on it. I don't have any problem with it. It's high in potassium. It's high in fat. It helps keep me full. Their argument is it's a little higher in saturated fat. Boo-hoo. The wafers have 6 grams of saturated fat in it. So that's less than an avocado. So if you can't have an avocado, then you can't have the wafers. And you can go, that's the only one that I'm not buying. What I like about Ideal Protein is it's keeping it black and white. Stick to the sheet. Don't start making 50 exceptions and this, that, and the other thing. The trick to it, remember, is under 40 carbs, the body makes a natural appetite suppressant, and hunger drops off a cliff, making the diet infinitely easier. Number 2, it uses fat as its primary source of energy. One of your girls said earlier, fighting to get back on, sort of struggling. We tell clients when they fight to get back on and they just came back and they're sort of on for 3 days and then off, whatever, don't worry about calories. I don't care if you take in 2,000 calories for the week. Do not take in 40 carbohydrates. You have to get into ketosis first. He has to be step one. And then the body makes a natural appetite suppressant. Then I can fight this thing on a real level. Don't try to, if you're having trouble getting back on, don't go 800 calories a day and sub 40 carbs. Forget calories. Don't worry about it. Just stay sub 40 carbs. If you have more eggs or more fish or more ideal proteins, I don't care. Once in ketosis, then we'll start trying to add in calories and do whatever. So for those people that have been on it and come back and they can't seem to adjust, that to me is a huge trick in how you leverage ketosis.
Wow, I think that that's a really interesting way to put that, because it is a really, for some reason, and as you say, it is the number one struggle that people have. They can kill it the first time, and then when we try to do it a second and a third and a fourth, and I think one of the reasons too is just exactly what you addressed before, Ed, was that we've adjusted our diets. We're not eating all that junk and stuff, so we're not going to get the same kind of loss the second and the third and the fourth time around, unless we've gone back to going crazy with ourselves. But if you have adjusted the way that your lifestyle, the way that you eat, when you want to do a reset or reboot, it's gonna be slower. It just is. Okay, so
let me throw a trick to reboots. The other trick to a reboot that's really, really helpful from a psychological level is take out an index card. We give all our clients an index card on reboots only, and tell me what the end date is. When the human brain knows there's an end date, he knows there's an end date and looks and goes, oh, come on, I can do it for 7 more days or 8 more days or 9 more days. Where the brain gets tricky is where he thinks, I don't know where this is going to go. I might do this diet for another 3 or 4 months. Right? I'm Catholic, and for Catholics, we have Lent. Lent lasts for 40 days. You get 25 days into Lent and you go, oh, damn it, I gave up TV. That was stupid. You go, okay, but you've got 15 days left. Hang in there. Don't break it now. If there wasn't an end date, I'd just break it instantly. I'd say, screw it, I'm going to have a drink or I'm going to watch TV or whatever I said I wasn't going to do for 40 days. I break it. So we give our clients on a reset an index card that says, look, I'd rather have you really good for 14 days than on and off for 6 months. If you're going to do it, rip it, get rid of the fat. And the index card says, guys, give me 11 days or 13 days or 19 days. You might not be at perfect weight. And the brain goes, all right, I'm 6 days in. I'm not going to blow it now. I've got 4 days left. And that, from a psychological perspective, is unbelievably helpful for reset people.
Totally agree. That's a good one. I love that. Okay, so Eileen says, my coach says eat only 3 packets. On a day when I work out, I should have 4 to replace the calories, right?
Can't answer that question. There's not, don't answer that question with a packet. Because if you answered it with a packet and you do the orange drink, you're only allowed to burn 80 calories at your workout. If you answer that by having a chocolate wafer, you can burn 200 calories at your workout. It's not a packet thing. It is not a packet thing because all the packets have different calories and different numbers. Keep in mind, your watch and your Apple Watch and those things are way off. Do not use those in terms of what type of calories you think you're burning. Normal girl should factor in, if they're doing an hour of aerobics, about 400 calories. No more, no less. Yeah, maybe spin could get you up to 5. The Orange Theory people that come in and tell me they did 750 an hour, don't be ridiculous. That's absolutely absurd. And you can't use that number because it won't work. So you need more electrolytes and more calories, but it's not a packet thing because you're trying to match that packet to the exact amount of calories you burned. And if she did a half hour of exercise, which we would tell her about 175 is what we would tell her, depending on weight, 175, 200 for that half hour in terms of calories, 1 orange drink's 80. She didn't make it. She'd need 3 orange drinks essentially. Now, if she's doing a wafer, she could do 1 wafer and she'd make it. So memorizing the packet thing I don't love because it's not the scientific way to go about it. And on the orange drink, she'd be doing too many calories, and on the wafer, she'd be perfect. But I didn't know which one she's doing. She also needs more sodium and more electrolytes. So you can do it. We have almost 23 people. We have an Orange Theory across the street from our diet center. We have almost 23 people doing Orange Theory, ripping it. But they've got to make major changes.
Wow. So what does an Orange Theory person have to do to meet the calorie intake?
We tell them we give them 4 to 450. Now, if it got bigger, guy comes in like he's 250 or something, I'll crank it higher. But 450, I don't, and one after the next shows me their printout or whatever. I don't want to see your printout. I don't want to see your fake printout. I understand the fake machines and how they're trying to make you feel better, and I get that whole thing, but it doesn't work. And if you walk in and you didn't lose enough weight this week, then you overestimated, calories went too low. We know that calories went too low on that day. And we see that on Facebook all the time. Only lost, going slow, only down 1.5. Going slow, and you can go, if it's not metabolic, being thyroid, T3, T4, free T3, TSH, something like that, testosterone, if it's not something like that, its calories are too low. And it's probably that 9 out of 10 times. And so sometimes those people work out for 3 days and they only put in one packet like she did, and she picked the wrong packet and worked out a little harder than she thought. Those 3 days are the only 3 days she's not losing weight. So she'd come in our diet center down 1.5 pounds for the week, and I'd say, 3 days this week, you didn't lose weight. She goes, that's funny. I didn't work out 3 days. I worked out 3 days this week. I go, I know. And you're not putting enough calories back on those 3 days.
Right. I love that. Okay, so let's see. Let's see here. Let's see. We got a lot of stuff going on here. If you eat carbs, avocados. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, we got a lot of people commenting. So love that. So Eileen says, so you just put them back with just protein. I don't know what
calorie part of it. Well, I prefer fat because it goes in order. Insulin, carbohydrates will be the highest, then protein, although whey protein can spike. So carbohydrates in general, carbohydrates, protein, fat in terms of insulin spike. So I'd like to go in reverse calories back using fat first, then protein, then carbohydrates, simply because it's a reverse order of insulin and you take in less insulin. So, but that's really splitting hairs. If you want to put it back with fat, you'll have less of an insulin spike. You want to put it back with protein, that's fine, but I need those calories back. Okay, so Ed, tell me this: if I did a workout where I was burning 400 calories and I was on phase 1 and I was having a chocolate shake for breakfast, I was having a chicken soup for lunch and a peanut butter bar for my snack, and I was eating my 4 cups of veggies, my 8 ounces of protein, what would you have me put in there? Yeah, you're not... That without putting something in any packet you pick, you're not going to lose weight for the day. So those products you picked were low and very reasonable, and you're 7 or 8 ounces. And again, women, don't give me the fist thing. Give me the whole 8 ounces. 8 ounces is a big chunk. But you're right. I would tell you, you got to add back a full 350 calories. And how you want to... What would you advise that I use as 350 calories? I know IP is going to hate this, but I'm going to tell you, my first thing would be avocado. So you would add in some avocado, and absolutely. So that doesn't. I put it on the Dorados and the IP chips, so I get 160 calories in IP chips, and I'm eating them essentially like a tortilla chip, but I'm adding 200 or 300 calories of fat and avocado plus the extra packet of Dorados chips, and you add that together. I'm getting sodium, I'm getting potassium, I'm getting protein, and I'm getting healthy fat. I'm getting a very slow insulin spike. There's almost none from the avocado. I've got potassium and sodium. I put the calories back, and I'm going to rock it. Yeah. Okay. So interesting. And Susan, we know that avocado is not on protocol. And so here's the deal. If you are listening and you are a client in phase 1, this has to be something that your coach is okay with. We're talking. We're talking about, we're talking about a lot of different things today. So remember that 2 more packets. You could add more chicken. You could add eggs at breakfast. You could add more protein. As long as you put the calories back, you don't need to do that. No one's saying you need to do that. That's not the point. There's not a lot of if you used MCT oil, that would be genius. If you use more olive oil, that would be fine. Those are healthy fats. Those would all work. But I just don't want you to memorize, which most people do, pack it for workout. And you exercise for 30 minutes and I exercise for an hour, and we're both doing an orange drink. It doesn't work like that. And it's not going to work like that. That's going to be a total failure of a project. So memorizing packet doesn't work. You do not, no one's saying you've got to push or do the avocado thing. Stick to the IP sheet. I love IP. I love everything about IP. The thing's genius. But you have to add back more calories. And if it's eggs or chicken or fish and you're eating 2 real meals a day, it's fine with me. But you really get those calories back. And you really need to do some more vegetables that day, because you're really, the electrolyte part of it, as much as the IP salt is great, and the great part about the electrolytes really should be coming from vegetables. That's step number one, way before pickles or way before Powerade Zero or way before Hammer Nutrition electrolyte tablets or those type of things. Way before all those things, you'd much rather be getting it from vegetables. So high vegetable days on workout days.
Right. And you know, the bottom line is Ideal Protein put this protocol together because it works. And, you know, that doesn't mean that as we transition out of Ideal Protein, as we get to our goal weight, we are going to be going to real food. And I'm sure Ed agrees with me. We cannot be eating protein bars to, you know, so once you leave your Ideal Protein packets behind, we don't want you working out and having a protein bar with your workout. We want you eating avocado. We want you eating more healthy fats and you know, having 10 raw almonds or whatever it is for you. So a little bit of this is transitioning into lifestyle maintenance. And so, you know, disclaimer: don't take things out of context here that we're talking about. Be sure that you talk with your coach and that, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, that your coach and you agree with it. So Ed, awesome information. Love talking to you today. Definitely Ed and I will be getting together for some more broadcasts in the new year. One of the things that I have coming up is we are going to be doing a refresh wellness retreat, and that's going to be February 16 and 17 in the San Francisco Bay Area. If that's something that you are interested in, all you have to do is type in the word retreat and we will send you information on how you can find out more about our retreat. Ed, do you have any last words for everybody?
Yes. Last word, not with Ideal Protein. Weight loss is going to fix the symptom. The problem is limiting beliefs, psychology, emotion, mindset that's driving your eating behavior. The voice in your head that constantly points out all your flaws and insecurities is what we have to fix. The getting rid of the trigger foods at home is what we have to fix. The working on myself is what we have to fix. The you coming to the fact that you get out of the shower and you are beautiful. You're okay if you're not perfect. It's all right. And getting rid of that negative voice in your head. Those are the things that we need to do to keep the weight off. Weight loss in and of itself is a symptom, no more and no less. The problem is the limiting beliefs, psychology, and emotions that are driving it. The environment that we have at our home. What's your why? What's going on? All those things are infinitely more important. And if more people would put more time into working on themselves and writing down what they're experiencing, I think they're missing it when they don't journal during the diet and going, I haven't had bread in 5 weeks and I'm okay. I haven't had a glass of wine in 9 weeks and I used to do 2 glasses every single night of my life and I'm okay. And how do you feel? And what are you experiencing? And what do you think? And what do you get for losing 20 pounds? When you're down 20 or 25 pounds of weight, how's your energy, self-confidence, self-image, and overall happiness? How's it affect your relationship? How's it affect your kids and your work? Well, those are the things that drive everything that we're doing. And it gets tough because people want to be vulnerable and bring up these difficult issues. I don't want to say that my 30 extra pounds or 40 extra pounds negatively affects my kids or my relationship or whatever. But in the end, I have a backpack on that has 40 pounds of bricks in it, and it's affecting my relationship and my kids and my job. And when I can get to that, that's what drives real change in the world. So stop asking Ideal Protein, which is the greatest diet in the world. I've taught it for 10 years, and I love everything about it. It's fixing the symptom. It's not addressing the problem. So don't ask it to do something that it's not supposed to do. And when you can control that and you can control insulin, maintenance is not difficult.
Totally agree with you, Ed. It is all those behavioral modifications. And the minute that you decide that this is your year to really lose whatever it is for you, 10, 30, 50, 100, the minute that you start on that plan, you need to start working on what's going on in our brains, because if we don't fix that during phase 1, then we didn't get anywhere, and then phase 4 becomes impossible and very difficult to maintain your weight. Okay, everybody, it's been a super show. Thank you so much, Ed, for joining me. It's been awesome and fun, and we'll definitely be getting back together again in the new year. Again, if you guys want information on my upcoming retreat, please just type in the word retreat, and I will get that out to you. All right, Ed, bye. Super fun.
Bye. Thank you.